Hey, thanks for stopping by. So for today's video, I'm going to start out by using some Versamark and some embossing powder to heat emboss this circle, which will be an element in my layout. This is a chipboard piece from, it's called Graduated Circles by Blue Fern Studios, and it's been in my stash for years. I decided that it was time to start using things that have been sitting around and collecting dust. So basically what I did was I patted my Versamark embossing pad, and I did it in sections so that it would be easier to heat up. And as you can see, I'm heating it up with my tool. I don't use anything fancy. I use a piece of printer paper so I don't get it all over my desk. And this way it's easy to get the powder back into the little container that you see there. But you can see how it's starting to get glossy. And it has like a glossy black finish to it. And I really love how this layout turns out. So stick around, watch it to the end. It's one of my first layouts that I created here in my new scrap space in our new house. And I just haven't had a chance to do a voiceover with just life getting in the way and just so many things happening, and it's just been crazy. But today I wanted to get this voiceover done, and I have a few others that I'm doing. So you can see that I'm starting out very simple. That's the not embossing. That is the sketch that I'm using that I got off of Pinterest, and I am using the Banners 3, and I'm just gonna use it a little different than what it's really meant for. I wanted to have the fishtail, so instead I just flipped it over and used the part that I wanted. Here I'm just using some Tim Holtz Distressing, and I am going to adhere this banner right over my circle. And of course I was having all kinds of adhesive issues. My glue didn't want to work. Nothing wanted to work down here because I hadn't used anything, so everything was kind of like, fighting me. So in this layout, it asks for 4 pictures. I cut my pictures out to, I'll tell you right now, to 3 by 3. And I'm using a piece of fun foam to give myself a little stability right there in the center of the page, because if not, everything's going to kind of dip in. And everything else that I just wanted to mention, the orange paper in the background is cut to 11.5 by 11.5. The white paper that you see there is cut to 9 by 10.5. And then the banner is cut to 4 3/4, 4 3/4 by 11.25 approximately. So my pictures were printed out on the using Project Life app. It prints 2 3x4s on a 4x6 sheet, and this is my adorable niece who loves FaceTiming me, and she will FaceTime me a lot. She lives in Florida, so I don't see her very often, but I love her. She's just such a sweetie pie. Like, she just loves to love, and she loves everybody, and I know she loves me. So I wanted to make this layout. It was for my birthday. She called me on my birthday, and of course she was making faces at the screen, and I was just taking snapshots of her. So yeah, so also I used a old Martha Stewart punch for that border. I think it's Martha Stewart. Pretty sure it is. So now I'm just going to position my pictures and glue them down. And I do end up just gluing them directly onto the paper and just using a little foam on the two middle ones to make them rise a little bit, because they were kind of, I wanted them to pop up a little bit. And I'm just going to glue everything down. And I wanted to, I was trying to stick one of those, these are all things that I found on my desk and like in a little bucket. I wanted to try to use them, those little die cut, oh my gosh, doilies. I don't know why I couldn't remember what they were called, but they don't end up coming onto this page. I am using the October 2019 Hip Kit Club kit. That's where I got the paper, and those ephemera pieces are from that. The orange flowers are Prima, and they've been sitting in my drawers for a few years. Also, that little pink flower you see there on the left bottom is also one of the ephemera pieces, and I end up popping it up. And okay, you see those little acetate thingies that I'm sticking onto my page? I've had those since I started scrapbooking, and they are probably from somewhere around 2007, 6, and I've still had them, and I was like, yeah, these are going on a page. They're going on a page today. It's happening. So at this point, I'm just jotting down some information on that little card, and I'll be sticking it down there on the top left corner. And I'm adding some more ephemera, and I'm just kind of scattering it around. And some of these pretty little petal, I want to say the Prima, they might be Petaloo. I'm not sure. It's been such a long time since I've had them that I've kind of don't remember who's what anymore. Yeah, so Kiwi Lane, here we go, using some pieces that I wanted to use. I'm going to use a tag number 7, and I'm just going to use the top part of it to add to that right top corner, because in my on the sketch there is a small tag there, and at first I picked this black paper because I wanted to incorporate more of it, and I wasn't loving it, so I think it sits there for a little bit, and instead I end up using this pink paper. I actually reverse what you see here. I use the pink paper, and then I use that We Are Memory Keepers punch for my little circle thingy. And here's where I decide that I'm using this one instead. And it's actually Pretty Little Studios packaging, and it went so well with the colors, so I was like, yep, this is what we're using. It goes, it works with the kit, the colors worked, and I end up using that little black circle, which was, I believe, probably the back of that pink, which I used on the pictures. No, it's not. Never mind. Scratch that. So that's going there in that right corner. And then in the top left corner, I was looking for some ribbon to add to my tag. And this was actually some paper ribbon I had. And I keep all my ribbons by color in little Ziploc bags, if they're loose, like you see here. So I added those there, and then I wanted to add another little piece of ribbon, and I just plopped it there. Of course, I got to do everything in threes because that's just the way I am. And I'm just going to start gluing all this stuff down. So down below in my description, you will find the links to all my social media, Instagram, Facebook, as well as my Kiwi shop. Although I'm a Kiwi Lane, I don't even know what I am anymore because they changed it. I used to be an instructor. Now I'm something else. Kiwi partner or something, whatever. I don't really push it a lot, but I do love the product, and that's why I use it, and that's why I make videos using it. And I just haven't had a chance to really figure out their new business model. I also use those tiny little Queen and Company. They're called like bits or something, and they're like tiny little flowers. They're like made out of like plastic. So I'm going to use more of that packaging, and that was the Freedom 3, and that I believe came in a one of the monthly kits. And I'm going to use these little arrow thingies, and again using the packaging, so being eco-friendly. And that is going to go on the left top corner. And of course, inking all my edges. As you can tell by my sweater, it was still pretty cold. Look very fuzzy and warm there. So I'm cutting out 5 of those. So yeah, so you see that up there? I actually bring it a little bit higher, and I add a couple other things of flower and some other embellishments, a little piece of this. Oh, here you go. There is my, the paper puncher, the border punch that I used, which actually is a Stampin' Up! One, not a Martha Stewart. So I'm just going to use a little piece of it to anchor that little corner there, because I feel like the arrows are just kind of like floating, so it needed something to like everything to sit like a little shelf. And I'm really happy how this page turned out. I loved the color. I love the Hip Kit Club. Unfortunately, I had to cancel my subscription with them. With everything that's going on in the world, I did lose my job, and really can't afford to be buying stuff right now. So I was sad to see my last one come in May, which one of my upcoming videos will be using that kit. But, you know, hopefully with more likes and subscribes, one day I'll be discovered in the scrapbooking world. Probably never, but I like making videos, so I'm okay with that. So make sure you stick around to the end. I have a few close-ups, not lots, I'm lying. A few close-ups, and I have links to other videos that might interest you. Let me know in the comments if you want to see anything specific. Is there any techniques? Like here I'm going to use some heavy gesso, and I'm going to add some water to it to make it watery so I can do some ink splatters. And you're going to see how I mess it up and then I fix it. Oh, right there. Somehow I grabbed it, and see that black line there at bottom left? Yeah. I was kind of sad about that, but it is what it is. So here I'm trying to stamp my title, which says Capturing This Face, and I am using a stamp collection from Elle Studio, and that is Title Builder. I'm not sure which stamping border it is, but I want to say, stamp set. It's definitely a Title Builder. I want to say maybe the first one or the second one. Not sure. And the thickers I had in my arsenal of thickers, because that's my biggest addiction. And I am going to type up my journaling. And I actually, instead of using my typewriter, I typed it on my computer, double spaced, so that I can cut it all out. And it says, every year on my birthday, I get a special FaceTime call from my nieces and nephew. They wish me a happy birthday and tell me about their day. No call is complete without Kailani making faces at me. I love that I can screenshot these moments forever. Yeah, so this is coming pretty close to the end of my video. As you can see, my journaling is going to cover up most of that splatter that I created at the bottom. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you please would. And if there's any suggestions of anything you want to see, any techniques, anything, let me know in the comments. Have a great day.